Good evening and welcome to our 2024 Illegal Fireworks Reporting webinar. Our sponsors are the San Jose All District Leadership Group, District 5 United, and the District 2 Neighborhood Leadership Council in San Jose. Our panelists are a group of distinguished City of San Jose officials, and you're going to hear from them tonight who will explain how to report illegal fireworks using the city's San Jose 311 reporting tool. Our panelists include Deputy Fire Chief James Dobson. He's also the fire marshal. Code Enforcement Supervisor Joe Celio. And also San Jose Information Technology Department Public Relations, Public Information Manager Chelsea Palacio. And we are expecting also to be visited by San Jose Police Department Sergeant Rick Galea. And we expect him to be joining us during the course of the evening. A couple of housekeeping notes and a big welcome to our attendees. Following the presentation, you will all have the opportunity to raise questions to be answered by our experts here. The way this is working as it is a webinar format, so all of your microphones are muted and your cameras are off. If the time comes and you have questions, we will unmute and uncover those things so that you can ask your questions, and we'll notify you when that happens. We are delighted to have you with us, and without any further ado, I think we will go right to Joe Celio. And Joe, if you will unmute, you may begin your presentation.
Okay, so I guess I'll go ahead and share my screen. 1 second. Oh, okay, can everybody see everything? Okay.
Looking good, Joe.
All right, let me just. Okay, once again, my name is Joe Celio, and thank you for attending. I'm one of the supervisors for the City of San Jose Code Enforcement Division, and I'm facilitating the fireworks program that the City of San Jose Code Enforcement takes part in. So we're here today or tonight to talk about the 311 app, the San Jose 311 app, and utilizing it to report illegal fireworks, especially as we have 4th of July coming up. But good news is it's not just for 4th of July, it's throughout the year. So we can, you can go ahead and utilize it whenever you do see any type of illegal fireworks. So if you were here last year, nothing's much has changed. So it's going to be similar PowerPoint. And if you weren't, then enjoy. All right, let me get started. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do, if you have a smartphone, iPad, whatever you have, is download the San Jose app. You can just do a search in your app store and just type in San Jose 311 app, and it should pop right up. And go ahead and download that. And then once you open it up, the first page you're going to see is it's going to say Access San Jose 311 now. So you click on that. And this will be a plug for just the app in general because it's not just for fire, but it's kind of a good tool to report different issues. And each service, for example, abandoned vehicles, graffiti, they all will get routed to the appropriate department. But for our purposes, yeah, you would go ahead and click on the illegal fireworks. So once you click on that, you're going to have to sign into your account. So if you have an account, you can go ahead and log in. Let me just 1 second. Can you guys see my cursor? Yeah, okay. So yeah, if you're going to log in, put out, username, password, or you can log in as a guest. Or if you don't have a username or you haven't started, but you want to sign up, you can go ahead and sign up as well. So one of the differences here is that if you have an account, you're able to submit a report for an actionable report. So what's an actionable report? It's basically what occurs either a warning or a citation. Something's going to occur as a result. We're either going to send a warning notice or a citation. If you submit a report as a guest, it's going to be a non-actionable report, meaning that the city will investigate and they will use the information they obtain, I believe, for their hotspots. Can be used to map out illegal fireworks for future planning and patrols. So the data will definitely be used, but a actionable report as far as citation or a warning notice will not be available. Okay, so then once you log in or once you sign up, at this point, then you're going to go ahead and just read and agree, basically. Go ahead and read pretty much the disclaimers as far as footage, photos and videos related to the illegal fireworks that are submitted may be used for evidence under shall residents who report the use of illegal fireworks construe that they are acting as an agent or employee of the city. The city may contact you to confirm your report. So yeah, once you go through that, go ahead and click I understand and agree. And then we're going to go to the date and time of the incident. So when we go to the date of the fireworks, we're looking at the date when you observed the fireworks. We're not looking at the date of today's date, for example. We're not going to if you're reporting it on the 5th of July, don't put the 5th of July. If you saw it on the 4th, put the date that actually occurred and the time. So once you click on the drop down, if you click on that, it's going to give you a range. So for example, here we have between 9 p.m. and 12 p.m. So your best estimate as far as when you observed the fireworks occurring. And then below that, then you're going to be able to put the address of where the fireworks occurred. So I'm going to go to the next slide. So if you have the address, great. Go ahead and put it in the field and it's going to pop up this little you can also use the pin to drag it to the approximate area, hopefully right on the house that you're observing. And that should be able to bring up the information or the address of where the fireworks are occurring. So below that, then at that point, you're going to go to the description of the incident. So put as much detail as you can. It helps when we review these cases. We observed fireworks occurring in front of the property. Were they fireworks? Were there people observing? Anything, whatever you can would be great. And that helps out when we kind of review the case. Then you're going to click on next. So the reporting continues. It's going to ask you some questions. Do you know who used, sold, or possessed the illegal fireworks? If you don't, you don't. If you do, it's going to ask for first name and last name. And it's going to ask, do you have any photo or video evidence of the incident? If you do, great. If not, click on no. For our purposes, I believe I clicked on yes. So then you would go to next. It's going to take you to the photo and video evidence. So we clicked on next. Now, if you see the little drag file here, that's where you're going to put your video or photo. And you should be able to upload. I think if you click on choose a folder, if you have a file, you should be able to upload it to this area. Okay, and then you're going to put your contact info, and this will go on the report. So when I'm reviewing the reports, I'll be able to see your information there. So you may ask, well, hey, I put my information in to log into the app. Well, I don't really see that portion, so I'm going to see this portion. So that's why it's important to put your information there, an address as well as a phone number and email. That's how the best way for us to communicate. If I have any questions when I'm reviewing a video or a photo, I may send you an email, give you a call just to get a little more clarification. Okay, so actually, let me go back to the other one. You can see down here, there's some more acknowledgements about the same items. Let me go to the next page. So once you click on these acknowledgement items, now it's going to be give you the review and acknowledgement. It's going to basically go over everything you've entered, um, date of the fireworks. So this is your opportunity at this point to kind of look over everything and make sure it's accurate. And at that point, you're finished. That's pretty much it as far as reporting. Um, you're going to be able to get a reference number. So I would hold on to that. So if you do have any questions as far as what's going on with your report, you can call our office, have that number ready. We'll be able to look it up and see where it's at. We'll also email you a confirmation. So you're going to get a confirmation as well. So if you have no app, no problem, because you can also visit the City of San Jose Fire Department webpage or call 408-535-5600. So if you visit the fire department webpage, and I'll let everybody give some time to take that down. But if you visit the webpage, it's going to bring you here. And if you see at the bottom right corner, you can actually just click on that. So if you have a laptop, your desktop, like I said, you don't necessarily need the app. You just click on there, and it's going to bring you here where you have this little link. Click on the link, and it's going to take you exactly to where you would have been if you had the app. So you don't necessarily need the app to report legal fireworks. There's other options. And just I want to go back to the videos, the photos provided. It helps out a lot when we have videos are great. Photos will be great as well. We don't want you to go out there and start investigating. We don't want to put yourself in a dangerous situation if you see fireworks occurring. You know, if you can get video, great. If you can get photos, great, but don't put yourself in a situation that could be dangerous. Especially if you go, confront a group of people with fireworks, yeah, you don't want to say, hey, let me take a quick photo of you, so you don't want to do that. But for our purposes, yes, it does help when looking as far as what we're going to do. We're going to issue a warning notice or a citation. If we do see some video that shows some the fireworks occurring in front of the subject property that was reported, that's great video. That's something that we can utilize to move forward with possibly a citation. But even if we don't have that evidence, we will still send a notice to the address of that the fireworks were reported to be at, and basically stating that there's some suspicion that fireworks occurred. So at the very least, it may help prevent fireworks next year. So while we may not catch them with the citation this year, at the very least, there's something that's going to go out to let them know, hey, somebody saw you. So, please knock it off. Don't do that again. And that's it for the PowerPoint. And if there's any questions, let me go and.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. I think there'll be some more from you as our questions develop. And for our attendees, we do have two representatives from the San Jose Police Department who have joined up as attendees, and we're attempting to promote them to panelists. So as Captain Brian Spears and Sergeant Rick Galea are out there. So we'll see if we can move them over to the panel. In the meantime, for those of you who have questions, please enter them on the Q&A tab that you see down below at the bottom of your screen. I think it's the second to the right in that center section. So we have questions posed in the Q&A chat right now, and let me back up for just a second. We've got Captain Spears has joined us from the San Jose Police Department. Welcome, Captain. We're looking for Sergeant Galea to join us in a minute. There he is. So let's go to our questions. First question is from Jeff Levine. And Jeff, we're going to unmute you and turn on your camera so you can ask it. So unmute, please, and ask away.
I'm a panelist now. Okay. Question. Can you provide any information on prior years' enforcement actions as a result of reports from on the 311 app? Do you have any numbers to share?
Steve, I think I can help with that. Again, this is James Dobson, San Jose Fire Department Deputy Chief and Fire Marshal. The numbers that we have as far as the app go, and I have another item open, so I'm trying to scroll back and forth. The online reports that we received were 998, but the largest percentage of those were actually non-registered users. So as Joe indicated, non-registered users, those are not actionable because they don't have specific information. We don't have a complaining party. So that unfortunately resulted in 0 administrative citations. The previous year, the 2 previous years, we had 10 administrative citations. But I also want to trumpet the good work that the police department did last year as well. So from the police department, they had 11 citations. They had 19 spectator citations, which were people just observing illegal fireworks shows. And they also had 3 arrests. They also seized in collaboration with the fire department's arson unit, 39,000 pounds of illegal fireworks and kept those off the street. And I'm happy to give you more numbers as far as the calls that police went on, the calls that fire went on, if that's something you
want. Yeah, sure. Yeah, but you don't have to. Do you have anything published where we can look at it? I mean, I'd hate to just gobble up all the time with you citing numbers.
Yeah, so we submit a memo every year to the Public Safety, Finance, and Strategic Support Committee. It has all of the previous years as well in it. And that usually report comes out in August. So for the fireworks ordinance work plan status report, if you look back at the Public Safety, Finance, and Strategic Support Committee on the website, as far as the city's web, you will be able to download the memo, and that memo was dated August 2nd of 2023. Again, that has all of the data as well as a write-up of what was done on the campaign.
I have one final question. I don't want to hog the time here, but you said 39,000 pounds were taken off the street. Is that prior to the 4th of July? Was that enforcement action during the period leading up to the 4th of July, or was that on the 4th of July?
That's a great question. So it is, we typically have a reporting period of the week before to the week after 4th of July. But some of those fireworks happened in advance. Some of them were associated with an event that the police department took to, and they were able to seize multiple storage units. So, and then they were filled with fireworks.
Okay, thank you.
Prior to.
I have another question unrelated to this, but I want to turn it over to somebody else. I don't want this just to be me asking the question, so I'll wait till later. Thank you.
And then one more
Thank you for
thing.
your questions.
I do have
do we
one
have-
other thing to add to that answer of reporting. The 311 site also has different reports that you can access. Well, they're not going to be as detailed as the memo that was mentioned earlier. I'll type this into the chat now. If you just go to 311.sanjoseca.gov, there is a drop-down menu to look at reports. You can look at actually all the reports from 311 in general, but there is an actual drop-down just for illegal fireworks as well.
Thank you very much. Question number 2 comes from Lee Miller, and we're going to unmute you and turn on your camera.
Hi, everybody. We can skip my first question about, is there a desktop version of the 311 app? Because, you can go online. To me, that's the same thing as a desktop if I wanted it. So on the app itself, though, there are times when people are blowing the illegal fireworks up in the middle of the street, and people are, you really don't know whose house it's at because they may not be in front of their house, right? So is there a way to report a proximity of where they're being blown off?
So I'll try and answer that, but if maybe I'll ask some of the panelists to help me. Yes, you can put a location as far as a pin in the street. Um, Let me explain that most of the time, if it's a pin in the street, it's not going to be actionable by code enforcement. So one of the benefits of, or if you're there and you see it, if you see anybody setting off fireworks and then they go into a residence, it doesn't have to be that the fireworks are lit off at the residence, but if you see them go back into a residence, you can report that and give that detail in. We have what's called the social host ordinance, which will hold them accountable if they're the ones that are lighting off the fireworks and then they go back into their house.
Okay, but if I do a proximity report, I know it might not be actionable, but on the back end, you will see that there's activity going on in that area, right?
That's
So
correct.
would you send,
We use that for hotspotting. So as far as mapping.
Right. So would you use that as part of your patrolling area if it was a hotspot?
Great question. So every year, not only do we use the prior year's hotspot data to try and identify hotspot areas so that we can increase patrols, whether they be fire department personnel or San Jose Police Department personnel, but we also have access to the back end of the 311 app, and we can see where reports are coming in as far as on a kind of a live basis. So we can see where you can't zoom in to the street level or the neighborhood level. The back end users, as far as people with the city, can actually look in on the specific street.
Thank you.
And if I could just help you out, Chief Dobson, as well. Mrs. Miller, in addition, if there are fireworks going off on your street in that proximity, I can also ask or suggest that you call our San Jose Police non-emergency number, and they would ascertain that information, and that will help identify additional hot zones just as well. And based off of the activity in the middle of the street, an officer can be summoned to that scene, obviously depending on priorities, and on view the activity just as well. So I want to make sure that I empower you.
And that's a really good suggestion, but what is the queue time on that? Because during the 4th of July, calling in, it could be a half an hour on the phone, maybe more, before a dispatcher is able to take the report. So I would much rather use the app than hang out on the phone for half an hour.
Yeah, and I encourage you to, and I can tell you from last year, one of the biggest things is that the San Jose Police Department dealt with an armed barricaded subject in the middle of 4th of July. But I just wanted to add to it, if I want to just provide you some of those tools.
Okay, thank you.
And that's a great point. Thank you, Captain Spears. Anytime that you feel that there is potential property damage or something where either somebody's injured or there's a fire or any other items, please feel free to call 911. If it's a non-emergency, meaning that they've just set off a firework, but it's not affecting the immediate property with fire or anything like that, then yeah, that non-emergency number is the most effective. Means it clears the 911 channel for those true emergencies so that police and fire can get out to those.
Okay, thank you for your question. Next question, we're going back to Jeff for his next question.
Back to hotspots. In my particular neighborhood, there's two notorious hotspots that have been reported year after year. So my question is, how much proactive patrol, either by SJFD or PD, is going to be concentrated on just looking at the hotspot, not just in my neighborhood, but all of the reported hotspots from prior years?
I'm gonna go ahead and let PD start, and then I'll follow up with the fire department.
Sure. Great question, sir. So during the designated patrol times, if officers are not responding to calls for service, we are really trying to push them to cruise through neighborhoods, through residential neighborhoods, not just on the large-scale city streets, so that way we can either deter and or take action. So within their free patrol time, that's exactly what we are directing our officers to do.
Thank you, Captain Spears. And then for the fire department, we have a procedure where we require the companies to take the long road back to the station. We also see an elevated level of responses during this time, but we want our rigs to drive the neighborhoods, be visible, be present, so again, we want to be present so that we facilitate a deterrent.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you for your question. We turn now to our next question from Jagdish. We're going to unmute you and turn on your camera. Thank you, Lee. We'll do that. Not seeing the questioner, we're going to read their question for you. In my neighborhood last year, the fireworks were done by people in neutral places, school grounds, middle of roads, and they then run away. 311 app isn't very useful in those circumstances because you don't have an address to send citation to. What can I do in those cases? I'll take my answer offline. I don't need to be online.
So I think that's a great point. Fireworks are transitory in nature. People light them off, and then oftentimes before we can get there, whether it's PD or fire, they've already done their damage, or they've gone off, kind of terrorized the neighborhood. So we still want you to report them via 311. It not only helps us when we do the patrols, but it also helps us with our advertising campaign. The San Jose Fire Department spends approximately $15,000 in advertising. That's on freeway billboards, bus stop billboards, as well as numerous social media outlets. Last year, we utilized the San Jose Mercury News, but upon looking at the data, we found that we were not targeting the audience that was actually doing the fireworks. So we're spending a lot more time trying to be as efficient and effective with that money as possible, and really trying to target the online that people are utilizing of that demographic. So I don't have a good answer other than it helps us by you reporting it. And if you're able to see somebody go into a residence, please give us that detail, that address, because that is actionable.
And if I could just jump in behind Chief, I find in my own neighborhood the more information is learned when I read next door, and for whatever reason, communities who know one another tend to report it on Nextdoor or identify the address or the neighbors, the residents. And if we can get that off of Nextdoor, but really onto the 311 app, then we can follow up with and take a little more action between code enforcement and fire. So if you're out there and you're hearing this, instead of being a Nextdoor vigilante, if we can get that pushed towards the 311 app or the non-emergency number, you please utilize those resources other than Nextdoor.
All right, thank you for that question. We have one of our attendees. Jeff, you had your hand raised, but we have a couple of 3 people ahead of you, so hold on to that question, please, and we'll be back to you. Sharon Root has a couple of questions, and we will unmute you and turn on your camera so you can ask them. Let me read the second one first, which would be: last year, our neighbors shot fireworks off and set a fire in a field, then restarted shooting them off in the same area. I don't see the rest of the question there, unfortunately. Tell you what, Sharon, if you can resubmit those questions, we promise to read them in full. Let's go on to Arlene, who has a question, and if you are there, let's unmute you and turn on your camera. So here is Arlene's question. Most of the time when the illegal fireworks occur, I'm indoors during the evening. I hear M80-like firecrackers that rattle my window panes. I can't determine where the sounds are coming from. Is there any recourse to report that kind of information without substantial evidence?
Again, I would say that there's not much that's actionable on that, but by putting something in your general geographic area, neighborhood, as far as the 311 app, that gives us details that we utilize for not only increasing patrols or actually utilizing for patrols, but also for our advertising. So hopefully that answers your question. But as you can imagine, it's very difficult to bring a case, whether it's a code enforcement case or a criminal case, if we don't have solid details as far as people, where, all of those locations. But for you, we can definitely utilize it for general information for hotspot data.
Thank you for the question and for the answer. Jeff, you had your hand raised a while ago. Did you want to ask another one?
Yeah, I do have. I have another one. It's been estimated that about 85% of the illegal fireworks used in California come from a handful of companies in Nevada, shipping through FedEx and UPS, and also people going over the border and buying them. And we're talking about the projectiles, the real dangerous ones. My question for law enforcement, has there been any effort to law enforcement and the city civilian as well, has there been any effort to try to enlist the state or the federal government or other allied counties to go after the illegal supply of these fireworks?
I can take a stab at it, Mr. Levine. I am aware that ATF has done a variety of operations. I know that from the incident that Chief Dobson was speaking about regarding the 38,000 pounds that were seized back in June of last year, that really put the Bay Area on a map. I find it very cumbersome to have other counties that still accept fireworks, which is hard to determine which ones are what. So to answer your question, yes, I am aware that the ATF is actively trying to pursue cases when we have substantial leads. Last year, we did, in fact, do a variety of undercover operations. Our specialized units are still actually doing those types of investigations just as well to see if they lead to a larger scale.
I
To
have
add to
some.
that, I would just say that our city has also reached out to the state, specifically to our Attorney General Rob Bonta, to try and get support and to identify that we have a problem as far as fireworks coming in from out of state. That is a big challenge. So far, we have not been able to get much traction, but as Captain Spears indicated, we are on the map as far as, unfortunately, I guess it's a bad map to be on, but we are on the map for having these illegal fireworks. The people that came down and took possession of the illegal fireworks, that 39,000 was actually the state fire marshal's office. So they are aware of what's going on. at a state level, and that's something we'll continue to try and work on.
Chief Dobson, I want to add in Lee Miller. Juan, if you could open up her mic and camera. She's got some input into this that we have been working on at state level as well. Hey, Lee, the
So
floor
as
is
far-
yours.
As far as the state level goes, we've been working with Dennis Rebell from Rebell Communications quite closely for an interstate compact agreement between Nevada and California. What we're waiting for now is the state fire marshal to reach out to the governor's office to convene a committee and to work with the state of Nevada to get that thing going. We think it's going to be successful due to the fact that the mayor of the mayor of Las Vegas, and Pahrump is right next to Las Vegas, is sick and tired of the illegal fireworks coming into Las Vegas. And he was also at one time the governor of Nevada. So he has a lot of pull and he is very on board with this. So what would be really helpful is beating up on the state fire marshal to get this committee going and convene with the governor to, you know, get to let the folks God, my mouth is not working. I'm sorry. To have the group, including our AG, get together to form this committee and work with the state of Nevada to get this this interstate compact going. We only have a limited amount of time because the state of Nevada is not like the state of California, where the state legislature is meeting all the time. We have until 2025 to get this done. So it would be very, very helpful to have, you know, the city of San Jose join the fight with our little organization, and we've been working closely with Steve also. That's all I have.
We should identify that Lee Miller is president of an organization in Sacramento called Residents Against Illegal Fireworks, working with a number of other jurisdictions, including the city of San Jose and other cities, to bring some influence to bear on the state government to do more than it's doing. There just happens to be laws on the books already, including California Health and Safety Code 12704, which requires the state fire marshal and attorney generals both to collaborate and taking legal action against those importers of illegal fireworks. There's a consortium of different organizations, including the Association of Fire Chiefs, working on lobbying the governor along the lines that Lee described a few minutes ago. Obviously, it's a statewide problem. We're also working through the city of San Jose's intergovernmental relations group to add our influence to bring more state cooperation on the interception of the illegal fireworks. So there's work being done both locally, and we appreciate all the departments here tonight that are working on the problem, and we expect to make some progress at state level as well. It's all in the works. Thanks for the question and your additional information, Lee. Let's go to back to Sharon, who has a question. I think I'll read it for the group here. On the site, you have to accept acknowledgement that our names be released if required by law, that you may be called on to testify. 311 will not let you submit without agreeing. Is there a way to submit without doing that? In this case, neighbors. I can't quite read that last sentence, but you get the question.
So I'll try and take a stab at it. So for it to be actionable, you have to be willing to testify, which then you would have to say yes. You can report as an anonymous individual, but that would not be actionable. And then I don't know, Joe, if you have any further details on that.
Similar to kind of what Chief stated, it's basically actionable, non-actionable. So if we don't have any contact info, or a lot of the boxes were not checked, we can't really take the actionable offense as far as like a warning notice or a citation. So yeah, we would, to move forward, we would need, and I think a lot of our citations come off videos. Well, all of them do come on videos and photos. So you wouldn't even be allowed to, I believe, upload if you don't put your information in there.
Okay, thank you for that answer to that question. Jeff, you have raised your hand. Go
Yeah,
ahead
just
and ask.
thanks. Just one final question. And this, I guess, would be to PD, although maybe the fire department as well. In years past, just randomly running through Nextdoor, Facebook, I've come across people illegally selling fireworks, and I've reached out to whoever my captain of my district was at the time, and then they would sort of route me to the whatever detective might be interested in it. Is there a central place where if we have a tip like that regarding illegal fireworks, is there a streamlined area where we can submit those tips? Because it's also obviously very timely if you want to try to nail somebody.
No, we do not have someone, a dedicated detective for this particular. I want to be very candid and honest. My Sergeant Rick Galea, who's on this call, has been. I want to give credit where credit's due. He has been the catalyst for the city of San Jose Police Department taking these things on. Him and a handful of selected team members. So that information, Sergeant Galea, if you don't mind, if Mr. Levine was to get some information, if we could drop your email in there, and then that way he would be one of the folks that can identify an officer who can work that. Your division captain, I want to be candid. His priority list is going to be a lot of other things, so I want a direct streamline for you.
And I promise it's not going to be every little thing. It's only on occasion if I run across the most gross thing where they got, like a yard sale of aerial projectiles, and this has happened in the past, so it's preposterous. Anyway, so I promise not to, oh, guys lighting a firework, I want you to go. I would never bother you with stuff like that.
All right, I think we've run through the questions and most of the answers. I'm going to give one more shot at our participants tonight to see if anyone wants to ask a question on the Q&A. While you're deciding about doing that, I'd like to acknowledge once again the people who have participated on our panel this evening. Deputy Chief Dobson, Code Enforcement Supervisor Celio, Captain Brian Spears, Sergeant Rick Galea, Chelsea Palacio. I think she may have dropped off. And I also want to give credit to District 5 United President Juan Estrada, who produced the webinar this evening on behalf of the San Jose All District Leadership Group. So we appreciate the cooperation from all of the city departments and the work that you're doing to try to keep our neighborhood safe. We look forward to getting a better handle on the use of these illegal fireworks in the city and working with the various authorities here and in the state and with the neighborhood leadership, making some progress on this issue. It's a thorny one. It's not easily solved, but I think we've got the heart and the smarts to tackle this thing. So not seeing any additional questions, I think we're going to say good night to everyone. And we'll probably see you again next year. So be safe. One other thing. I don't know if any of our panelists or attendees have a handle on the various official public fireworks displays taking place this year, but there are several. One that I know of at Alvin and Lake Park will be taking place. Another at the San Jose Giants ballpark. And I think those
You have a
are good
third
places
that's
where to
going to
go.
be at Lake Cunningham.
Yeah,
So
a
there's
third
a
one?
third at Lake Cunningham, which is, we're really excited to see that because there's always been a clamoring to have something on the east side. we're hoping that of San Jose, we're hoping that people decide to go to this event rather than set off illegal fireworks, especially with it being located on the east side.
Good, it'll make it a more pleasurable holiday for everyone to see those great professional displays. And so with that, I will again wish everyone our thanks for joining us, to have a safe and a happy celebration this 4th of July. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
You.